TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Diamond, your State Farm Insurance agent in DeKalb. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Diamond and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. Don't forget Kids Eat for Free on Thursday. For delivery or pickup, go to pizzavilla.com or call 815-758-8116. Elder Care Services of DeKalb. Safe, secure, and supported. Helping you stay in home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdecalb.org. My Insurance Guy in Sycamore covers Medicare to auto care and everything in between. Stop by at 204 South Main Street in Sycamore. Call 815-899-0950 or online at myinsuranceguy.com.
Welcome into TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 59. Honored and privileged to have with us a gentleman that we're very familiar with in various capacities, mainly looking out for the veterans in DeKalb County. And that, of course, is Mike Embry. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Good afternoon. I'm doing well.
It's a pleasure to have you here. I can have some very exciting news about a veteran from the Korean War. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And we're going to talk about the Kishwaukee Fest and where that is headed. But, of course, the main news, and we want to thank you for stepping in for Dan Lynch. And, of course, a big thanks to our sponsors and my nephew, Michael Davis, who gets on the air every year. But, again, the lead story, which we cannot ignore, is the former NIU football coach, Joe Novak, passed away. His legacy will never be forgotten. And I was just asking you off the air how well you knew Joe, and you said you knew Joe quite well.
Very well. He was a great friend. He was assistant coach when I was the band director at NIU.
Oh, really? Okay.
So that's how I knew him, and obviously I knew him after when he came back for his tenure as a head coach. But Joe was such a great gentleman that he actually would come to band rehearsal and thank the band kids for being an important part of the entertainment and game day experience.
Is that right? I've never heard that before, a coach do that. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was one of the few that Bill Lowry never came over to talk, but Joe came over and made an effort to let the kids know how he appreciated them.
And we forget that he was an assistant coach before he became head coach at NIU.
Correct. He was assistant in 80 to 83, I think, under Bill Lowry.
Okay.
And then followed with Bill to his next assignment, and then came back as the head coach here.
And those first 2 years were rather lean for him. I think he was won one game the first year and 0-11 the second year. But NIU stuck with him. Something you probably wouldn't see nowadays with the coaches, the way the carousel are on. But they stuck with Joe, knowing that was a quality man, and look what he did for him.
Well, he did. He really brought it back to life, and you really have to give a coach at least 3 years
to bring your own people in, right? Yeah.
Correct. Well, yeah, because you're living the first 2 years, you're living with somebody else's recruits. You don't know how good they are or what's short, and especially now, it changes now, but even back then, kids would transfer. When a new coach would come in, I don't like him, so they would transfer to another school. And Mallory took a couple kids with him when he left here.
Okay, very good. That's a great point. And, of course, so many highlights with Joe, of course, winning the conference championships. But, of course, the win over Alabama, which is one that many of us will remember there, the 19-16 win, September 20, 2003, on the road against Alabama. I mean, that's something, that doesn't get any better than that. I mean, Alabama's the powerhouse. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, nothing better than that is beating Notre Dame.
Yes, that's what I say that too, but that wasn't Joe. But again, what a legacy he has. And, I used to do the coaches show with him on the radio, and, and it's such a cliche, but admit it, there was no nicer guys than Joe Novak. I mean.
Absolutely. Just a genuinely a nice gentleman.
And took himself, he didn't, his head coaching position, and even as the Huskies became more and more popular, Joe stayed the same. He was just the same guy.
Very down to earth. And in fact, I talked to Brian Shelley this afternoon at the farmers market, and he said, Brian used to be a linesman for many, many years at the game. Joe Novak would come over to him and say, "Boy, that place sucked. We're going to have to do better on that." Or he would ask him, "Well, what do you think about that play? We want to put that in the book, So he was a gentleman's gentleman.
Really, I he was surely missed, but again, what a legacy he has left here at NIU, and worth it for the world, for that matter. So we will be more sorely missed. Thank you for your words about him. Now, the reason I asked you on for many reasons, but this is what I saw here on Facebook, and again, DeKalb County issues. Some of these guys don't know how to take, but it says cruel. DeKalb Democratic-controlled government canceled DeKalb's cherished and beloved Kishwaukee Fest Parade. DeKalb veteran and parade organizer Mike Embry announced on social media. Sad note, the Kishwaukee Fest Parade has been canceled for 2026. The City of DeKalb rejected our parade permit request. We are sorry for all the units and volunteers that are committed to this parade event. maybe next year the City of DeKalb will allow it to return. The Kishwaukee Fest Parade has been the largest parade in DeKalb, other than the 1956 Centennial Parade and the 1982 NIU Homecoming Parade. Thank you for your past support. So I don't know about that Democratic-controlled city council, but what happened though? Because
That came from a.
I had figured as much.
Yeah, it was not my quote. That was from another person. Yeah, we did approach the city in March about bringing back. It's been dormant since 2020, so we had COVID.
Yeah, the COVID just kind of wiped it out, didn't it?
Yeah, we had not. We didn't do one in 2020, and then, but we had done about 16, 17 years prior to that. We've been doing the drum corps show and the car show for almost 40 years. So we put them all together. It was like a big weekend of events and activities. The more you can get people out here, the more exciting it's going to be. To come out for one thing, maybe not, but boy, I can see a drum corps show and a parade and a car show. And
Well, you might like this. This is how AI describes it. The Kishwaukee Fest Parade in DeKalb is a major summer community event featuring local marching units, military marshals, and festive floats. It serves as one of the area's prominent large-scale parades alongside regional staples that permit changes to the cancellation. So this is like got a great reputation. So it's not just a parade, right? You said there were other activities surrounding this.
oh, absolutely, we have events at downtown area. The parade we put the parade on Friday night because the drum corps show was always on Saturday night. So we get these drum corps coming in and looking for some extra money, basically. So we put them in the parade. And back to school time, that was the easiest recruit for me. And I had a lot of contact with the Shriners. And also, and you mentioned earlier, we had a lot of beauty queens come out.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a championship parade for beauty queens.
You had the Miss Heather Queen, Maggie Shiv. You had Miss Hartland, Anika Stroll. She was in the Thurston Heather Highland Dancers. The Heather Queen. It was great. So like I said, in your highlight, you guys are really, it was like going on Bacon Palooza. I remember interviewing you at the radio station about that.
Correct. Well, the Queens would come out, and at the time, O'Leary's would host a dinner for them.
Oh, okay.
And, they would all come out, and they had their own float and their own car, basically, or we had lots of cars. Everybody wanted to drive a beauty queen. I mean, you got a cool car, you want a beauty queen in the back of your cool car. But it was great. You mentioned we had Irish dancers, we had Scottish dancers, we had bagpipe bands. It was really kind of fun, and it was
And I should add one more thing you had was the All Community Band. That was in 2018. The All Community Band is open to anyone who wants to be part of this fun group. All instruments welcome, even string players, color guard, and musicians. So I remember that community band that you put together.
It was a hoot. I mean, they played pretty well. They didn't march worth a darn, but that's okay. It was just about the fun part of it, to get people involved.
So where does it stand right now? So this again, I didn't realize it was 2019 was the last time you had Kishwaukee Fest, and obviously COVID wiped out a lot of things here. I have your old permit that you got there in terms of what you had to fill out and what the city allowed you to do was back in 2018 you had the parades, and you had a street dance as well, and then you had the Bacon Palooza. So you had 3 different things going on there as well. But right now, what are your thoughts about them maybe coming back? Because I just was watching the city council meeting last night for Monday, and the NIU parade is going to go on, right? They'll have that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of it's not much of a parade. It's a little.
Well, I was going to say it's a little smaller than yours.
Oh
it?
My God, yes! It just moves downtown, and it starts and ends like a 4-block.
It's like a 4-block radius.
Yeah, it's not that much, and compared to 1982, when the parade started downtown, right down Lincoln Highway, all the way to Lagoon and all the way through campus, and we had high school bands, we had fraternity floats and sorority floats, so it was a big parade back then.
But then what about doing a scaled-down version? Have you thought about attempting maybe for next year a scaled-down version?
Well, it depends on the city and the activities. It takes a lot of time.
Sure.
Terry, to be honest with you, I mean, to organize the groups, we had Shriner groups out of Rockford, out in the suburbs. We had bagpipe bands. We had touring groups that came through.
Then you got the permits, right? And then you got the parade route. I'm learning about this stuff even just recently, what all you have to do just to do something like this.
Correct, and get the state to approve closing down a major highway. But it was something that I think the community enjoyed. People would say, we came down Cemetery from the old which is now called Founders School. We came down 7, and the street was loaded with people, and people said, why are there so many people? Because it's their Disneyland for the year. I mean, they don't get to go away, and school's starting the 1st of August. So, and then we had all these little junior high or club sports, football and softball, and little mini cheerleaders that all won. They were on flatbed trucks, and they were having so much fun. And you mentioned street dance with creating. I actually got hired semi-trailer trucks and flatbeds, and we put rock bands or country bands on the back of these semi-trailer, and we parked on 2nd and 3rd Street and had street dance after the parade was over.
I remember that. Yeah.
It was so much fun, but we just kept people downtown. And I think one thing that people used to chuckle at, and I know it was a little off crazy, but the very last unit in the parade was Santa.
Oh.
We had a Santa Claus all dressed up and waving at the kids and passing out candy. And some of the little kids, you could just see how excited they were. If 6 months to Christmas, that doesn't matter. It was just fun.
Now, and here I can't find it, but where it says basically they were designating the last weekend in July for Kishwaukee Fest. And that's kind of a gap. I mean, wouldn't you like to lock that in there as the last weekend in July?
It is, because we have the drum corps show on Saturday. We have the car show on Sunday. Bring people to shop downtown. Bacon Palooza. We had the parking lot filled. We had a championship skateboard contest one time on Locust. So we really wanted to provide something for the people that come to see. Besides, and you got people. I don't know, you and your lovely bride couldn't come Saturday, but we have 7,000 spectators to watch the Drum and Bugle Corps show Saturday night. And that's a lot of people for tourism.
That is.
And we sometimes don't get 7,000 people for a NIU football game.
No, you don't. I mean, that's...
So, yeah, and it was filled, and the restaurants were filled, hotels were filled. It's just a good tourism event.
Now, before we move on, what about next year? Have you thoughts about next year, or you're going to put it on hold
I
for a
haven't
while?
thought about it yet. I'm still kind of analyzing it. It is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I must tell you. And my company is embarking on some new projects, and obviously 27, my international travel schedule is pretty filled.
Yeah, we'll talk about your travels a little bit here. But thank you for that. We appreciate that update. This out of the Daily Chronicle, DeKalb City leaders tighten regulations on door-to-door solicitations, stiffer penalties, and increased fees. Now, I was out doing some yard work the other day, and this young man comes up to me, and I think it was selling siding, solar panels, which we have one already. I kind of pointed up to me. But he kept, how you doing? Working hard today? And I just kind of appreciate you. And he kind of hung around, and he came back around again the second time. And I said, we've been through this, right? I don't mean to be curt with these people, because nothing harder to do than going door to door. But what are your thoughts about it? Is it needed here? Peddlers, solicitors, internet merchants seeking to do business in DeKalb will be subject to higher fees because of the action taken by the DeKalb City Council. City Council unanimously voted to amend an ordinance to help ensure better compliance with the city's licensing process and address residents' concerns. And they had a couple of people speak that they had problems with these solicitors. Even the first word, Alderwoman Carolyn Cesada said, I work from home. I've had tons of people come by the house, so I'm really happy to see this happen. I know it's needed. Tracy Smith echoes those sentiments as well, said a lot of his constituents have complained to him. Now, under the amendment, the door-to-door vendor application fee is going to move up from $25 to $100, and then the daily fee is $25 to $100. Now, I don't know about this, Mike. Maybe you do. So this daily fee, that you have to pay that every day if you want to go out and solicit door-to-door?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and that will curb these people who come to town, because when they bring these salesmen out of the suburbs, and generally you met young guys,
right?
Young guys or gals, and they're aggressive.
Yeah, they are.
It's commission based, so they're there to really get you to buy their product, whatever it may be. So the only way to curb that is, to make sure that there's fees high enough.
Yeah.
To discourage the guys selling Hooper Scoopers or whatever, the minor stuff. If you're selling a roof at $7,000, or you're selling a gutters, or you're selling siding, that's a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
But you can imagine, a roof today is $10,000, and they get 20% of that. Well, that's a pretty nice. So you sell one roof, you made your day.
Yeah, they're motivated. That's for sure.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But now the penalty, which has also increased, the penalties for unlicensed activity, $300 to $500 per day. The city plans to maintain a website page where residents can verify licensed vendors, so they'll have to have some kind of a identification when they come to your door. Vendors also have to amend the hours. Now, I didn't know there were hours for solicitation. Now cutting the hours from 9 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. It used to be 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. any day of the week.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy came by on a Sunday when I'm working in the yard.
Yes.
So now, no weekends. If we see them there, we know they're violating the.
Absolutely.
All right, I like that. That's great. I should also point out, Mayor Barnes pointing out that it doesn't include politicians. Because, you do
okay.
have to.
All right, now there's another old story, What's good for the goose is not good for the gander.
Well, now, come on, you've been there. You ran for mayor. You had to get signatures. Didn't you have to go door to door? Did you have to do it? Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. But you did it during the weekday.
Right.
Now, I have politicians come to my house on weekends, as Mayor Barnes did, but sometimes people are already busy on the weekends too. But you always kind of knew if you go from 5 to 7 at night, people came home from work. And
Right.
Catch them. And it depends on how many signatures you need to have. If you cover a good neighborhood, you can get signatures right away.
Did you get most people? I mean, it's hard to the percentage-wise, but most people you approached, did you get a signature from them?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay.
There were some that were non-committal. There were some that, who would ask, well, are you a Democrat or a Republican or whatever? And when they asked that question, I would generally walk away because they're trying to put you in a hole.
Right.
And I try to explain that if you're running for like a city alderman or mayor, it's a non-political appointment. It's not by party. It's by the job itself.
Right.
And of course, I tell people that I do belong to two political parties. I belong to the Common Sense Party and the Cocktail Party, and those two keep me going.
I don't like to remember, at least the last one. So we talked about that. Then there's another one. Now, this is a very complicated issue. I just want to touch on this because I don't know how much you know about it. I've been interviewing the candidates that are running for DeKalb County Board, and DeKalb County Nursing Center executive resigns, says administrators bullied and intimidated him. Bart Becker, who resigned from his role at DeKalb County Rehabilitation and Nation Center, accused County Administrator Ruth Kedzer of micromanagement, and apparently claims that he was bullied. He quit without notice in July and wrote his resignation letter that he felt staying in the role would risk his professional license integrity. According to documents, Becker was brought in to lead the nursing center after a week after the private buyer had gotten DeKalb County approval to purchase facility, chose to end its second stint with the DeKalb County Rehabilitation Center. So, long story short, he worked for him before. They brought him back again, and now he feels he's being... Well, here's what he said. Becker wrote in his decision, I care deeply about the residents, the employees, and the success of the nursing home. He wrote to an open letter to the Shaw media. I do not want to leave my position. However, I believe I've been left with no reasonable alternative.
Well, that's what we've been told. That
Right, that's only one side of the story.
Yeah, correct. And that the new county administrator, Ruth, has been really aggressive.
Yeah.
And so who knows the real story? I mean, I'm really concerned because when she came on board, which between, common knowledge, first thing she did, she hired 3 new people.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, wouldn't you want to get your feet wet first, find out what's going on before you start hiring people?
Mm-hmm.
And, God, one of them was cracked me up with the title was Director of Enhancement. Like, wow. I mean, this goes back, well, you've been around as well as I had. This goes back to the Anne Marie day when she came here and she brought in 17 new people. Are you doing that to cover your backside or what? And this way, I'm not for sure. It always concerns me, Terry, when you get somebody who moved from Colorado to take a job. Wow. I mean, some here in the Midwest maybe, but when you're that far away to come and take a job, why?
Yeah, it's a great point. Now, I should point out, Ruth Kedzer is quoted here in the article, who became director of DeKalb County Administrator in March, disputed Becker's characterization of her behavior towards him. Mr. Becker has a right to his perspective, but my perspective is different, she said. So obviously this is a story that will continue to evolve, but he has now since resigned from that position, and they'll be looking for somebody else, working with the Jordan Healthcare Group, who created a business plan for back in 2023. His resignation letter, Bart is gone. She said, quote, Bart is gone, the past is over. Today we have an opportunity to make sure the DeKalb County Nursing and Rehab Center to make sure its financial strength in the future. So if they're looking for a replacement, and we'll see how that goes. But I appreciate your insight on that, Mike. Now, Mike, you have a very interesting story you just told me off the air here about a body that was discovered from the Korean War. Tell us about that story, please.
Well, I just got a notice from Defense Bureau that they were notified by the United States Army. They had found the remains of a DeKalb veteran, well, not a veteran, he's a DeKalb military person who disappeared in 1953, I think. He was 20 years old. He's from DeKalb, went to DeKalb High School, and he turned up missing. They couldn't find him. Even when they came in neutralized with the United Nations, they couldn't find his body. So there were mass graves. They would bury these soldiers. And when I was sharing with you, a lot of times the South Koreans and North Koreans, they would steal the dog tags of veterans. So you would not know who these bodies are. And they would bury them. And so they finally, through DNA, have realized that they found this one guy. And Senior Master Sergeant Baker. And he...
What's the name again?
Senior Master Sergeant Baker.
Okay.
And they're flying him back in August 5th. The United States is flying him to O'Hare. Sam Vince's funeral will have a hearse there to pick his remains up at 5:30 in the morning. And Chief Byrd will send a DeKalb police car along with state's police cars. They will escort that hearse all the way back to DeKalb.
Oh, wow.
And so we're going to ask people to come downtown. So 5:30, depending on traffic, but we're looking at like 8:30, 9 o'clock on the August 5th. They'll bring the hearse in through Lincoln Highway to the funeral home. And this is interesting. And as much as I know about military, did not know that he is not considered a veteran. He's considered active duty. Even been gone for 70-some years. He's still an active duty military.
Well, we hear the term missing in action. That means that you're still actively.
Military.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, what really comes through for me is that we're still looking for these folks, right? And we're still looking for World War II and Korean veterans.
Absolutely, yeah. And unlike World War II, where they were able to find a lot of them, they knew, they didn't steal the dog tags back then. But this is going to be kind of interesting. He does have some family around. We're going to try to have as many military people to attend. The service will be on Saturday the 8th. And I've been told that because he is active duty military, they are bringing a full military complement here, which include pallbearers, rifles, bugler, and the whole bit.
Wow.
But we're going to have an organization. We're going to be there as well, just in case to make sure. And we're going to get a hold of a lot of other people and say, let's show up for this gentleman and have a good send-off. Because I don't know how many families are going to have 8, 10, 12, but we want like 30 or 40 veterans to come out and make this thing special.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. So where is that going to be now? The service will be where? At the, do we know yet?
The service will be at the funeral home. And then
the Finch Funeral Home, okay.
Fairview Cemetery. He will be buried next to his mom and dad.
Wow. Well, thank you for that story. God bless him and his family. The DeKalb County Community Foundation is inviting residents, community members, and nonprofit organizations to share ideas that can help expand opportunities and improve quality of life in DeKalb. The Community Foundation Upward Mobility Grant Program is a new initiative that builds on success of the Promise Grant Program, support creative ideas to help people build better lives in DeKalb County. Now, is this a lot of just word salad here, Mike, or is this really going to accomplish something? Do you think people will apply for these grants and do something to better DeKalb County? I know it's kind of a general question to ask you.
It's difficult to say. Anytime there's money involved, there should be conditions involved as well. Mm-hmm. So you better have a solid reason why you want these grants. And I know the foundation's very well with money now, and they're trying to get back.
Right.
I get that. But it's, too often we have these people with their hand out without really justification of why.
The grants are open to nonprofits, community groups, and individuals working to create opportunities, connect people with resources, and help families thrive. Grants of up to $5,000 are available for projects focused on one or more of those areas. So again, education and youth, health and well-being, housing and transportation, and income employment. So at least it's a broad category there, Mike, in terms of...
Correct. I mean, we do have, you heard the story about the homeless, well, do we need housing for the homeless? Do we need little mini homes so we could put these homeless people in and give them a life? I mean, other towns, other cities, other states have done that, especially for veterans. They make these little mini homes.
I've seen them. Yeah.
600-700 square feet. It's a bedroom, the bathroom, kitchen, like no garage. They don't have a car, most of them. So those kind of problems we can help solve.
Yeah.
Feeding these homeless and people here, especially where you're recording to here in the library, all our homeless people, they're in the church at night, but if they have to leave in the morning, they end up hanging out here at the library.
Sure. Around the computer.
And sad that we don't have something for them to do. We don't have a recreation center. We don't have something that we can take them to do.
Well, yeah, the Universalist United Church has done a fantastic job. And one of the things they do is I work at the gym, the Hayes Gym over there now. And the folks that are homeless currently can come and take a shower and clean up a little bit before, because you know how hard it is to find a job when you're out of a job. And
Correct.
So to be able to go somewhere and clean up and then go apply.
Yeah, and that's a good program. And also, I found out there's a couple of agencies that provide clothes and shoes for homeless people. So if they do want to go for a job.
Then we're talking to Mike Embry. He's helping us out here today. Mike, I know you're very patriotic in the story here about the Sycamore State Theater getting the second mural, which immediately raises questions about here in DeKalb. A lot of controversy about the mural on 7th Street. I shouldn't say a lot of controversy. There's always a couple of jokers there that, because it's supposed to illustrate the Lincoln Highway starting in New York and going to San Francisco. And, of course, they have a picture of the Golden Gate Bridge there. And the people are saying, it's a tribute to the Golden Gate Bridge, or why is the Golden Gate Bridge on there? There's a big DeKalb there, and then there's a DeKalb car there. I mean, it's obviously a tribute to DeKalb. What are your thoughts about that mural?
It's nice, and you're not going to please everybody. I mean, sadly enough, Terry, people are critics. Everybody's a critic,
Right.
And where did you get, and when they start that scenario, I'll ask them, like, where did you get your art degree? They're like, oh, well, I don't have it. Well, then why are you criticizing? I mean, and people say, well, that's not Abe Lincoln. It's too young. He didn't have a beard. Well, when Abe Lincoln started, he didn't have a beard. No. And, it is kind of interesting. People don't understand the Lincoln Highway, which goes from east to west, or Route 66, or any of these national highways, is actually a tribute to that more than anything.
Right. Very good. I know, because we had the first mile here. I think it was over there by Malta, and people would come to drive that 1 mile of paved road just to.
Oh yeah.
How cool is that?
And it was, I think it was World War II, and some young, I think it was a one-star general at the time called Dwight D. Eisenhower, and he brought they needed the tanks and trucks to bring it to the east so they could put them on ships to take them to the European front, because they didn't need them in the Pacific, because that was all air and battleships. So they came along the Lincoln Highway on dirt roads. There's pictures of these army trucks and these tanks coming across the country.
Wow. I know, that was it. That was the mode of transportation, right? That road.
I mean,
Wow.
In those days, you couldn't put a army truck or a tank on a plane. They weren't that big back then. The old B-25s, B-27s, B-29s, they were not that big. So they had to haul everything by either rail or by truck.
Yeah. Wow. That's great. I love that. Our Figure Community Calendar brought to you by Stagecoach Players Theater. Go to stagecoachplayers.com for all the information. Their current production, The Man Who Came to Dinner, will run this weekend. Again, call over 815-758-1940, 815-758-1940 for The Man Who Came to Dinner. Lots of things going on with it over here in DeKalb County. Of course, the Junk in Your Trunk in Sycamore. Vendors will be selling a variety of goods from household items, vintage treasures, crafts, and much more from 8 to 2 p.m. Now, as you get older, Mike, are you unloading a lot of stuff? Becky and I went through the basement the other day, and we had, our stuff like, why are we holding on to this stuff? But, sentimental value and stuff. Are you good about that, or are you a pack rat?
Well, I am a pack rat, tell you. Not a hoarder, but a pack rat. But I did recently purchase a book it's called The Swedish Life. And it talks about this older lady talking about how to get rid of stuff and how she did it. And she went from a large home, to an apartment building, and she still said, I have too much stuff. But yes, we are collectors. There's no question.
We have a lot of military stuff, right?
Oh my God! If you walk into my house and the whole front wall is plaques from military things, and and then I've had such a great career, first with the military bands, and then NIU, and all the things we did with NIU, and then afterwards the travel things that we've done, and now most recently since 2020, veteran stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. So you're not going to unload some of your stuff there?
Oh yes, yes we are. Oh yeah.
Well, I'm sure you make sure the right person gets it when you do that.
And that's the point that somebody said, well, how much you're going to charge for that Chicago Bear football that you have? Who knows? Right? There are people who can say, pull it up on their phone and say, "Oh, that football was worth $175."
Right.
What magic number? And I have no clue how they do that. But I have like 12 trumpets and cornets and all the bear stuff that I have, signed footballs by Walter Payton and all the others over there, and then all the NIU stuff.
Yeah.
My God, the footballs and the trophies and the things that we did. And sadly enough, when I don't have a family, it's going to be, I call it dumpster. It's a dumpster.
Well, okay. You never know. But yeah.
Well, when I lived on Hollister before I moved to my current home, Burdette Rainwater, I don't know if you knew the name, Burdette was a butcher for the Old Eagle store. So his wife had passed away, and he had lived in 2 doors down from me. And he had a beautiful home with a lot of classic stuff inside. And he dies. And he had been dating this nice lady a couple of years after his wife passed away. And so he dies, and this lady comes here and says, "Well, we had shared some things. Can we have it?" The 2 sons said, "Nope, everything's in the dumpster."
Oh, jeez.
And they literally took everything in the house, not taking anything home or not any reference to the dad, and threw it in the dumpster. And that just was a shock to me. Like,
Oh, that hurts me just to hear that.
wow. I mean, there's got to be some memorabilia. I mean, like you've had a great career. You've been in radio. You've done things in the community. And people should respect that. And somebody would find that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But, boy, just to say the dumpster's coming and it's all going, that's not good.
That's funny when you mentioned the football. My sister met Gail Sayers at a convention, and they're on the parking lot. He asked her for autographs. Gail went over to his truck, opened up his trunk. He had a trunk full of footballs.
Oh my gosh!
Signed one and handed it to my sister. It was so great. We
Oh
still
my
got
gosh.
that one. The afternoon concert here at the DeKalb Library. Katie Kostner will perform at 3:00. DeKalb Municipal Band concerts for continue there in the park. The next one will be Tuesday, August 4th at Hopkins Park. National Night Out. I know you love this event, Mike. The National Night Out is from 5 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday, August 4th at the Hy-Vee parking lot. Families can mingle with local police officers, enjoy a variety of activities, canine demonstrations, fire trucks, squad cars, and more. And to me, when I see the police with the kids, the firemen, it's a magic, you know?
It really is. It's great to see that interaction between families and make people less feared of the police.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's feared of the fire department, but when you see a police car, people get kind of nervous and stuff, and it's good that kids feel more comfortable in that environment. And it's a great program. It's a great out, and I know that you remember when the young lady that was a county sheriff died in a car crash. I built a memorial to her over at Oakland and 23, so at Pappas property. So you'll see American flag over there, but you'll see a police flag and a fire flag, and plus a statue and monument to the girl that was killed.
That was Officer Muscle, right? For Muscle.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I remember we were here when they had the parade for her funeral procession, and all the different police cars from all the different areas.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh, that was magical. Well, I get goosebumps just thinking about that. Yeah. Then we have Cortland Summerfest. Save the date for Cortland Summerfest is going to be August 7th through the 8th at Cortland Community Park. The event features family fun, beer tent, food trucks, live music, and more. You know, Mark Petrowski's been a guest on this show a couple times, the mayor of Cortland, and he really seems to be doing a lot. Well, I think all the folks in Cortland are really pulling together to make Cortland an up and coming little town.
It is, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to get people to come to town. Make the locals feel like there's something going on, because too often it's we're into a little country town, and I mean Malta Days or Portland or Maple Park Fest. I mean these are all fun things, and when you think back, I mean DeKalb really does not have that many things. Sycamore has Rib Fest. They've got Pumpkin Parade,
The car show.
and the car show.
Mm-hmm.
DeKalb's got Corn Fest. There needs to be other things, and we talked about it earlier. God, in 2019, we had a hot air balloon festival. I created a hot air balloon festival, which was well attended and for the first year. And of course, 2020 wiped everything out.
Yeah.
But people are looking for a short destination. So if you live in the suburbs or Chicago, coming out to DeKalb is a nice little field trip. So the more events you can create, the better off we are.
You mentioned the balloons. My sister, my wife, and her 3 sisters, they always do the saga, the Sisters Annual Getaway. And one year they're going to take a balloon. They're going to take a balloon ride. So the 1-year-old Janet was afraid. She said, "I'm going to go in the van. I'll follow you guys." So she followed them in the van, and the balloon landed. And she went to get out of the van, and she fell out.
Oh my God, I'm talking
Sorry, Janet. I
Say
had
better luck in the balloon than in the car.
I had
Yeah.
to tell that story. But I thought about you when I saw this one. From age 1 to Chase Field at 60, one DeKalb father and son ballpark odyssey. I said Tim Price is pretty sentimental, but Zach and Tim Price posed at the home ballpark at Colorado Rockies on the quest to see home ballparks in all 30 major baseball teams. DeKalb father and son accomplished the feat earlier this summer in Phoenix. I'm going to have him on for a podcast, but of course, you do so much traveling, Mike, and what a great idea to have a goal like this. I know we interviewed the couples that took pictures of all the courthouses in DeKalb County, every county, 102 counties. But to have a little project like this, that's got to be great for traveling.
I tell people all the time, and I've spoken with you, and you're lovely bride, but you have to have a reason to do something. You have to plan. And I remember I think it was 2017, the lady friend that I seen, we made a goal to see a Broadway show every month.
Oh, wow.
We flew to London, we flew to New York, we saw several in Chicago. But if you don't plan, you're not going to do it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know, some of the people give me a hard time because my plan this summer is to have 50 backyard fires. And I'm at 26 right now.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
I just had my first one the other night. There we go.
Yeah, so my goal is to have fire and sit in the backyard, watch the sunset, and of course I want to do it this year before whoever that silly state legislator is wants to do a $5 fine,
I know. What
a $5 permit.
That went away immediately.
Yeah, well, that's still there.
Is that still okay?
It's still in limbo. But, like, oh my God, it's this craziest thing ever. But then if you don't get a permit, up to a $10,000 fine, like, well, that's just stupid. And yet here's the thing that people don't understand. You have to get a permit from the city if you want to have a nightly fire. So you and Becky said, we're going to have a fire thing, but it's 5 o'clock and the city hall's closed. Where the heck are you going to get your permit?
Uh-huh.
So, unless you say, well, I'm going to have a fire on Saturday night. Well, Saturday night rains. Well, you're not going to have a fire. That's what I don't understand how this whole premise works.
Okay, well, I have to follow up on that. Because, like I said, I don't plan like the fires, like you said, more spontaneous things. So,
Oh, yeah,
and more like on a
absolutely.
weekend, so you're not going to be able to go somewhere.
I'm a monster s'mores maker, and I'm telling you, buddy, I have some of the best s'mores ever.
We're talking to Mike Embry helping us out with the news broadcast this week. And, of course, we always do the obits here, too. And so many wonderful people around this area. This one is for Charles Jansen. He was born to the Ferdinand and Bridget Jansen near Crofton, Nebraska. The second of 7 children. He grew up on a farm, graduated Crofton High School in 1952. He served in the U.S. Navy on destroyer at the USS Herbert, Thomas 8033, and destroyer USS Porterfield. 682 deployed for extended Western Pacific operations, including American Samoa, Australia, Japan, Philippines, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Midway, and Pearl Harbor from 1955 to 1959. We were just talking about the Korean conflict. This is right after that. And,
Right.
And look at all the places he went there.
Wow.
After honorable discharge, he attended and graduated from Wayne State College in Nebraska with an accounting degree. Married in 1965, Mary Claire Sprague. They moved to Illinois, where he worked as an accountant. They raised 5 children at a home in Streamwood before moving to Genoa. He was a member of the Knights of Columbus, multiple parishes, including St. Inzer, Hangover Park, and St. Catherine's of Genoa. He volunteered many years for Habitat for Humanity, building 19 homes in Boone and DeKalb counties in Illinois. See, now when I pass, I want everything like that. I just think that's such a great thing that he helped build 19 homes through Habitat for Humanity.
That is such amazing. And if you drive on Pleasant Street, they're building a new
A duplex.
a duplex.
Yeah.
And I think, wow, that is ingenious.
It is, because,
Yeah,
they build these big fancy places. They built just a basic structure, and you
Correct.
can put 2 families in there, right?
Correct. I mean, the plumbing and all the electrical things are already there. They right down the street, they built a single family. No, in fact, that was the house that they moved from Sycamore.
Right. Came down the street,
Sycamore.
Pleasant Street, yeah.
And but the duplex. I mean, the concrete pad's already there. The electrical and the plumbing's already in. It's not going to take much more to make a little 2-bedroom, 1 bath or 2 bath and a half house.
Right. And, for folks who don't know, Habitat for Humanity, they not only the people that are lived there, they not only help build the house, but then they train them how to maintain the house, how to make their payments, how to pay their utilities, and,
Correct.
and be able to stay in that house,
Otherwise, they don't stay.
Right.
Yeah, that's great.
It really is. And then Jill Carroll DeHaven, born July 20, 1967 in Denver, Colorado. Loved the mountains and the Denver Broncos and music. Graduated Bear Creek High School in 1985, went to Viola University. was an energetic ministry major at Southern California. She married, her boyfriend married her friend Paul in 1989. Paul attended the seminar, had two amazing daughters, Joanna and Carrie. Before Texas, then they moved to Sycamore in 2013. Jill said often that moving to Illinois was one of the best decisions she ever made. Now, I lived in Colorado. I have a friend who lives in Texas. And I think that's great that she lived both places and said, Illinois, the best place she ever lived. So,
Well, that's my story. I mean, I was raised in southern Missouri in the Ozarks, but we moved to Chicago when I was 16, and then I went in the service. I was stationed in Colorado.
yeah.
And I thought Colorado was the most beautiful place ever. But I have to tell you this. I realized, I was with the band, with the Air Force Academy band. And I said, something's missing in my life. And it wasn't until Air Force played Army in football that they flew us out there to West Point. And we were driving up the river, and you saw the trees changing. And it dawned on me, I missed the seasons. Because you remember Colorado, they only have two seasons.
Right.
Summer and winter. And sometimes they're on the same day. But you don't get the fall. You don't get the leaves turning. And I have to laugh at, because I do have an office in Colorado now because we have so much business out there. Well, we have the aspen. They turn all at 3 days and they're done.
Right.
And the little tiny leaves. There's nothing in there like a big oak leaf
Yeah.
falls down. Yeah.
Yeah, I lived in Denver for 5 years too. I remember getting out there and finding out about the brown cloud. There's a brown cloud. It's not near as bad as it used to be, though, with the air pollution, with the inversion effect there with the mountains. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm still going for the clean air of Colorado. And I'm in Denver, one of the worst air in the country.
What years were you there?
Oh, 1999 to 2004, I think it was.
Yeah, it's clearly it has cleaned up. It's
Oh, yeah, it really has.
When
Yeah.
I was stationed out there, you would drive from Colorado Springs up to Denver, and as soon as you got to Kessel Rock, you could just see the cover over Denver.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
I was amazed by that, yeah. Talking about Jill again now, Jill was a wedding coordinator, had two home-based businesses, worked in healthcare as a volunteer coordinator, and served as a missionary minister to local churches. After moving to Illinois, she worked at Judson University and Northern Illinois University in student services. She retired from her most recent job as an account payable specialist at the Christ Community Church in May during her 5-year battle with lung cancer. I just lost my brother to lung cancer. Jill became a strong advocate for education and research. She attended classes, conferences, and even went to Capitol Hill for the last 2 years to advocate for increased funding. Now, to me, that's a special person where you've been dealt a shitty hand like that, and instead of wallowing in self-pity, she goes up to, up on Congress and advocates for more food money for people that are going to do the same battle,
Absolutely. And if you've not had a major disaster in your life, health-wise, I mean, 9 months of cancer for me gave me a whole different perspective of life. I mean, just to be alive, number one, but to honor and respect people who have some kind of major illness, yes.
Well, you're an amazing guy, Mike, and I remember when I heard that you were diagnosed with cancer, then Becky and I are going to the airport. Who's going to pick us up to go to the airport? Mike Embry's going to come and pick us up. I'm like, wait a minute now. And I'm like, Mike, you should be, and I forget what you told me. I go, you should be home in bed or you should be, doing other things and working. But tell us about that work ethic. Even when you were diagnosed with cancer, you just kept plowing right through.
Well, it was. It gives you something to look forward to, something to do. Otherwise, you can. I did spend, when I was diagnosed, first of all, I was diagnosed in cancer in 2020 of January 28th. And by mid-February, COVID was kicking in. So I spent 8 months alone. I never told anybody I had cancer.
Oh, my gosh.
Afterwards. And it took me a year to recover. I lost 60 pounds in 8 weeks. The cancer was throat cancer. And once it happened, I wasn't able to swallow. So I couldn't eat. And that was a long, hard battle.
I believe it.
And still today, the radiation killed my saliva gland, so I have no saliva. So I have to eat small bites and wash them down, otherwise food doesn't go down. And it's a challenge as a bugler for military. I had to have a bottle of water.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I can't play without a bottle of water. So when I do military service, they always know if I don't have the water, I don't play.
We talked before about the number of times, and I think you know roughly how many times you played taps before.
It's a little over 2,000.
A little over 2,000.
Yes.
Wow. And we just saw you again with the services over there at the Elwood House, and I think you and Mark Baldwin did the dueling taps, and that's really
Every
powerful.
Memorial Day, yeah, it's called Echo Taps.
Echo tips, okay. And now let's take a quick look at the birthday and anniversary list brought to you by DeKalb County History Center. Go to DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org, find out all the cool things that are going. I don't know if you've been out there lately, went out there for the fundraiser, the Cocktails at the Crib, and what an amazing place that is.
Absolutely. Great job out there.
They really have. And then we forgot to mention last week, Sycamore resident veteran Jack Connerton was celebrating his pet, and this was last week, when his home at the Grand Victorian by fellow residents, family, and state senator Sue Resin turned 170 years old on July 25th.
Wow. Where's the goal?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the goal. And of course, our friends at the DeKalb County History Center, they sent us over our own this date in history, not just the one you see in the midweek. We'll just do one here, and that's in July 1976, a section of NIU FM transmitter tower began being replaced, fell 240 feet, crushing the chain link fence surrounding the base of the tower. No one was hurt when 800-pound pole flipped over and crashed on the ground, missing all the guy wires. Now, is it called guy wires? My whole life I thought it was guide wires with a D.
No, guide wires.
Guy, G-U-Y, guy wires. I did not know that. Missing all the guy wires supporting the tower. One worker said, quote, if it had hit a guy wire, the whole tower would be on the ground right now. The repair job has resulted from a May construction accident when a truck had backed into the tower, guy wire, damaging one section of the 300-foot tower. The work and the accident together kept the station off the air for more than a month. I remember a couple times at WLBK we came close to being off the air, but we never did. We always managed to stay on the air somehow. But before we let you go, again, you're an amazing person. Tell us about what you're doing now, what's your latest projects, because, we talked about Kishwaukee Fest, and you're going to kind of give that a little rest and see, I'm sure people might be approaching you about how maybe to at least do something similar to the Kishwaukee Fest. Like you said, we got to have something else besides Corn Fest, right?
We do. It would be nice to have a couple of special events that people, and I get asked all the time, Terry, that, would you help do St. Patrick's Parade? No, there's too many of them. Or would you help do Memorial Day Parade? No, there's too many of them. You want to create an event that nobody else has. If you create another Rib Fest, there's 40 of them, in there. So create something that is way off the wall, but enough to entice people want to come out.
Yeah, and I think when you guys locked into that last weekend in July, that's a great, people will go, well, it's the last weekend in July. Of course, that's when Kishwaukee Fest is. I mean, that'd be great to be able to lock that in like that.
Right. And again, when you have the car, I don't know how many cars they had this year, but last year they had 800 cars, and the Drum Corps show had 7,000 spectators, and the Dirty Bird had a car rally.
That's right.
Yeah, so there's fun stuff to do, but people are looking for that, and we got to get it out there. But you don't want to do it when everybody else is doing something, because you're going to lose the audience.
All right, speaking of fun, fun is your middle name, and I think it's a part of your name for your business, too. Tell us what's going on with the fun group. Where are you off to next?
Oh, well, we're still doing a lot of stuff. I've still got about 6 more events for the 250th coming up.
Okay.
Oh, my gosh, there's all kinds of services going on. Travel's been exciting, and we're already booked through 27. I'm going to be taking a group to a gourmet tour of Italy.
Okay.
And then we're going to Safari to Africa next year. So we've got pretty much a lot of things to do.
Have the fuel prices hit you guys hard in terms of...
Yes, it has.
I mean, because there's no getting around that, right?
It will vacillate. It comes up and down. And I have a hard time when somebody announces, well, there's going to be something happen, and that day the gas stations change the price. Well, the gas in those tanks where you bought them at a certain, why are you raising the price until you empty that tank?
Right.
So I have a real problem how that scam goes on. But, we do that, and then I wanted to bring up that we're excited that we have a Purple Heart County, and that was approved, and we have a Purple Heart City. So we honor veterans who have Purple Hearts, and that's going to be a big ceremony coming up.
I just saw a blurb on the Facebook, but I try not to scroll too much, but it was a dog, military dog. I get emotional thinking about it. He saved 5 guys out of a tank. The tank was on fire. They were all passed out inside. He went inside and dragged 5 of them out, burned all the fur in his body, lost his ears and part of his eye. And the dog lived, though, and they showed a picture of him with the 5 veterans that he saved.
Oh, yeah. Those kind of stories, people don't understand. People don't realize all those neat things that do happen that sometimes are lost in the social media or the news media. They tend to talk about things that really aren't that important. Mm-hmm. And I've shared with you that I was asked to go over to Normandy to play taps at the American Cemetery in France. And I was so humbled by how the French are respectful of our veterans. We are But then I found out that was D-Day, which was June of 44. In November of 44, Americans, English, and Canadians landed in Holland to free the Dutch from Nazi rule. There is a cemetery on the canal of 5,200 American soldiers, and each grave is adopted by a family in that community.
Wow.
And 3 times a year, they put flowers on those graves.
Oh, boy. It made me think of Billy Mitchell. Have you ever seen that? Steve Hartman does a bit on Sunday morning show, and there was a town in France, and his plane was shot, and he was going to bail, but he couldn't bail because it would have landed in the town, so he rode the plane down. And every year they honor him. Every year they have a ceremony. They go out and they honor the Billy Mitchell. Everybody knows they bitchy, but and the mayor of the town was almost crying talking about what Billy Mitchell did 60 years ago.
Oh,
It was
absolutely.
amazing. And his widow got to go there and see the whole thing. It was just beautiful.
It's absolutely amazing when you see that. And when about that town in Holland, I talked to the creator of the cemetery, and he said, "Mike, we have 300 families on a wait list."
Is that right?
Oh my God, they want to adopt a grave whenever it becomes available.
Wow.
Wow, that's so cool.
It really is. Well, thank you again. You made me think of Hershey Hunter's Fruit, a local gentleman from Cortland who's cleaning up all the Civil War graves. He's using that material to clean up the graves and so you can read them again. And
Oh yes, that's
Isn't that
what a
great?
cool thing.
Yeah.
And people don't realize. I mean, we sometimes think of look at our local cemetery, and you think back, somebody died in 1948. Oh, that's a long time ago. No, there's some cemeteries on the perimeter of this town that were from the Civil War.
Yeah, that's what he's doing, the Civil War graves first. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're an amazing man, and we thank you so much. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for continuing to look out for the veterans now here in our day and age. It's, like I said, you've done so much for us here in DeKalb, honoring our veterans. So we appreciate it so much, Mike. Keep up the great work, and thank you for your time today.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that's City Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 59.